All right. This is So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. And today is a good day, man. I'm so excited about today. Today is Monday, September the 25th. And today, man, I'm so excited. I got my sister from another mother on here. And man, I can't wait for y'all to hear what she got to say. So without further ado, I want to introduce you and the people that are listening. Wait, let me back up. First of all, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. If this is your first time, man, I'm glad you made it. I guarantee you're going to get something out of this. This you returning, man, you definitely going to get something out of this because this is going to take me down a path that explains and hopefully makes sense to a lot of people when I talk about seeking counsel. And this is one of the people that I decided to discipleship and counsel with. So I want to introduce y'all to my favorite person, Annette Jackson of Anonymous Enterprises. Annette, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't stay away.
So, a lot of people, what I'm saying, that's listening to this may or may not know, how we know each other. So if you want to just kind of give them the rundown, just a real brief introduction of, how we know each other, and then just talk a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I ended up meeting Ramsey when I did my first play. I feel like God had downloaded a message to me, and I wrote a play that was very successful, and everybody that he brought to the cast were people who fit the part perfectly, and Ramsey was one of those. He was a great actor. He brought life to that character, and that was back in 2009, and we have been brother and sister since.
Yes, and we've been through a lot, seen growth, seen change, and things like that. So, without boring everybody about, what's going on, you were one of the first people that I talked to or, introduced this podcast to. You heard my very first episode before I even put it out there. And you said something real powerful to me. Do you remember what that was?
No, I thought I said a lot of powerful things to you, but
that's good.
What are you talking about?
Right. Well, that's all right. I just wanted to see if you remembered. Basically, you called me back and said, "Wow, it's powerful, and you got a message, and I want you to perfect it, right? Because God's got something on you." That's what you told me, right? And
I tell you that all the time.
Right. But this is when I made the decision, right? I talk about, the process of it, right? The format, and this is one of those times where I was in the decision phase, and it definitely helped me do so. But anyways, we were talking about, you got caught up on the podcast. I know life is crazy, right? So you ain't been up on it, ain't been current, like I had expected you to, but you definitely made up for it, and after you did, you came back to me with some good feedback. So what did you get from the podcast? Just real quick, like after getting caught up on it.
Well, one of the things that I listened to the podcast. I mean, I spent honestly on my day off like 4 hours catching up on your podcast, and I was mentally and emotionally moved. It gave me a sense of power, a sense of direction. Sometimes you can go through things and you think you know things, but you can hear it from someone and the pieces connect. As I listened to that podcast, a whole lot of pieces in my life connected and made more sense to me. So your podcast gave me a lot of strength. I got a lot about using my gifts and my talents, which I knew I already had. But again, listening to some of your segments really connected those pieces for me. So it gave me power.
Yeah, that's dope. And I know anytime you receive a message or you feel, moved by the Spirit, you definitely act on it. And we were talking a little bit about getting you on here, right? Being the first female on here, which you should have been on here a long time ago, right? But you know, we're in two different cities. We're 1,500 miles away from each other. But you know what I'm saying, we definitely know how to reconnect and touch base and things like that. So you were talking about something that came to you, and like you have a message that you just feel like after getting your download that you wanted to share. What was that?
Well, the biggest thing was I wanted people to know that defeat is a disappointing emotion and not your truth. Because I felt like that many times, like I had did everything that I was supposed to do and went beyond what I was supposed to do, but still didn't work out the way things still didn't work out the way I planned them. I mean, I think about it with my children, my business, my relationships, my job, visions, dreams, you name it. I sometimes felt a sense of failure, and what really brought that out was one of your podcasts when you talked about purpose and pain.
Mm-hmm.
So through all of that, I feel like that I learned to find some peace and some contentment in the midst of storms. And it took me over half my life to find out how I needed to focus on things and what I needed to conquer.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to share that because I realized that life doesn't always have to make sense. I mean, things hit us back to back, times that we don't think they should, we don't think it's unfair, but they make sense at a particular time. Sometimes things just click and you get that awe moment. Mm. And then it made me understand about what God was saying about not leaning on your own understanding. I've gotten discouraged. I felt defeated, but I kept going. And the one thing that I want people to know is that you got to keep going. Don't feel defeated when things don't turn out the way you want them to, when you want them to. And then I came up with the acronym for defeat.
Okay, that's always good. That's how I remember everything. Everything I talk about, I remember in acronyms, and it's cool. So what is it? What is it? I'd love to hear this.
All right, for defeat, it's the devil effectively falsifying evidence after trauma.
Okay, say that one more time.
The devil effectively falsifying evidence after trauma.
Okay, so all right, that makes sense, right? I get it, but explain a little bit, like how you came up with that. Like, what does that mean?
I came up with that because when things don't happen the way we want to, we come to a conclusion that we failed. Mm. And then we ponder on it, and our minds and our emotions get involved. And I think it's just a trick. It's just a trick of the devil falsifying this evidence, because we've already gone through something. You're either sad, you're either hurt, you have some sense of self-doubt, and he turns that. That's the trauma. He turns it into that, and he makes you feel defeated. But you can't be defeated. Things happen when they're supposed to, and I'm learning that. Or they happen for a bigger picture. Sometimes the message isn't for you. It's for someone else or for something else.
Right. Now, if you could, right, now, it's powerful, right, what you're saying. Now, is there something for you particularly? Is there an instance or an example that you can give us that really just kind of drove that message home for you?
Oh, that's a real personal message, but, if it helps someone else, I'll say, I thought I was the best parent in the world. Mm-hmm. My kids had passports at young ages. I took them all over the country. I poured my whole life into what I thought I wanted their future to look like. Mm-hmm. And I thought I went beyond. I had every child who wanted to be my children. I had people coming, spending the night. I just poured my love into everything. But I thought that what I was doing was going to give them what they needed to survive and to excel. And it didn't turn out that way. And I felt defeated, and I felt hurt. And I felt like, what did I do wrong? I thought I did everything right. And it took my son one day to tell me. He said, "Ma, the mistakes that I'm making is not your fault." He said, "You were a great mother. I chose to do what I wanted to do because this is what I wanted to do. I'm not you. And I needed to learn my own lessons in life. not the lessons you wanted me to learn, but the lessons that I needed to learn to be a better person. And I thought, like, wow. But it gave me a sense that, hey, you didn't fail. You didn't fail because for him to be man enough to tell you that shows that you succeeded in something. So it wasn't my success, my version of success that manifested, but it was manifestation of him taking in the things that I have taught.
Yeah,
but for a long time, I felt like I failed.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you realized that you didn't fail, like the emotion that came over you, and when you finally turned it around, like how did you feel, like at that moment, like, when it clicked?
Relieved.
Relieved.
Relieved. The stress that came off me saying, I don't want a carbon copy. You know, if God made him or my daughter to have desires that I don't have, doesn't mean that I failed. It means that they're different and their purpose is different from mine. And I realized that we are all pieces of a big puzzle. And I sit here and my kids sit there.
Yeah. And you know, I've seen your kids grow. Like, I remember they was little, you know, and then the grandbabies and things like that. So I definitely see it. So, right, so if you could sum it up, right, if after everything you just laid out, right, if you could give it, you know, one thing you got out of it as your title of your message, what would that be?
It would be my acronym for defeat. And that's why I kept saying it. It's the devil effectively falsifying evidence after trauma.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the message right there. Defeat ain't what you think it is. It's what in it?
It's the devil effectively falsifying evidence after trauma.
The devil effectively falsifying evidence after trial. That is defeat. That is the true meaning of defeat. It doesn't mean you lost. It just means that you learned something along the way. Man, Annette, that's powerful. I'm so glad you came on here. But for these last couple of minutes, I want you to shine. So tell the people that's listening who you are, how they can get a hold of you, and most importantly, what marks have you left on the world that people can find.
Okay, my name is Annette Jackson. I am a playwright, a city worker, a butt-screen dancer, a mother of 2, a grandmother of 12. I have found peace in my life. You can reach me at anajproductions22@gmail.com or anajproductions for you.
That's dope. All based out of
Milwaukee,
Wisconsin. That's dope. Hey, I love it. Thank you, sis. I know we're going to have to do this again. Now that you got it out your system, you don't have to worry about getting ready because you're always going to be ready. So I thank you. This is So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. I'm a Native American in this country, and ain't a damn thing you could do about it. Go ahead and follow the Instagram page, So Says Mr. Thunder. As I said, I'm able to be found on all the platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. Spreaker is the one I'm using, and also, if you just want to go ahead and Google me, you can find me that way. As in the words of Dion, Coach Prime, I ain't hard to find. I appreciate you for coming out and listening to me today just a little bit. And again, thank you to Annette Jackson. It's been real.